Good morning and good morning. I will use my inside voice. Good morning and welcome to St. Michael's University School grade 11 and 12 closing ceremonies and graduation. Please join us in the singing of O Canada. Please be seated. Good morning. It's a pleasure to welcome everybody here this morning for the closing ceremonies at St. Michael's University School. Please bear with me while I welcome some of our more far-flung guests today who have come great distances. This is a bit of a tradition on this day, and it's also a bit of a test. Bonjour, c'est un grand plaisir de vous souhaiter tous bienvenue ici à St. Michael's University School. Buenos días. Es mi placer tener a todos ustedes aquí in St. Michael's University School. Guten Tag. Es ist ein großes Vergnügen, Sie alle hier in St. Michael's University School zu willkommen. Ngon Fun Ying Ne De Lai Do Li Do Sam Gun, St. Michael's University School. Annyeonghaseyo. St. Michael's University School Ewa Choso Komapsupnida. Ohayo gozaimasu. Honjitsu wa waza kokoni okoshi kurasari arigato gozaimasu. Tsao an, Ching Ching Fei Chang Huaning Niman Dao, St. Michael's University School. These are some of the languages of the world and some of the languages of SMUS. Welcome, everyone. The end of a school year is always for the students like that double-faced, masked symbol of New Year's. One face looking back at the past and one face looking ahead to the future. And the past being over and done, despite our attachments and memories, it is the future that looms most significantly and largely, since it's so full of plans, possibilities, and dreams. This is especially true of our graduates, who are starting across that swaying suspension bridge that leads to the next stage of life, a suspension bridge that some will hold on to nervously and that others will dance across. For the parents whose sons and daughters are graduating today, it is also a day of pause and reflection. More than ever, certainly, these sons and daughters will be standing on their own 2 feet, making more and more of their own decisions. These students have achieved wonderful things, in academics certainly, but also in sports, in concerts, in pursuits like Keep the Beat, fashion shows, Walk for Water, service trips in faraway countries. They have earned amazing scholarships to amazing universities that you will hear listed later. For many students, their best successes will have been ones that we can't measure: a test of friendship, a talk in chapel, or a personal best that won't mean much to anyone else. Days like this tend to be full of advice. There are popular graduation speeches that advise grads to wear sunscreen or to do something every day that scares you, or forecasts such as prices will rise, you too will get old, and when you do, you will fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. These kinds of flippant advice, I suppose, serve as an antidote to the more pompous and pretentious advice that gets handed out often at graduations and prize days. One of the more thought-provoking pieces of advice comes from Pablo Picasso, who said, "Computers are useless. They only give you answers." Well, computers have changed since Picasso. In fact, we hardly talk about computers anymore. We talk about devices, tablets and smartphones, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and apps and smartboards, and so on. Technology now is more like an organism growing around us, half skeleton and half skin, that shapes and overlays our work and our play. Picasso's advice does have its persistent message for schools, however: the importance of questions. The important thing in a school for minds that are alive is to know how to question. Curiosity has to be fostered. We have to know how to ask questions and sift answers. If we want more advice, I suggest we consider the school's vision as a guide, so that in our lives we continue to learn, to lead, to serve, discovering the promise in ourselves and the world. A group of men and women who live and breathe these ideals are the teachers at our school. I want to thank them for the job they do in bringing forth from these young men and women the great potential that is theirs. A few of our staff will not be with us next year. Janice McCatchin, English teacher, will be taking a year's leave to travel and work on her writing. Sofia Malchevska, who has been on maternity leave this year, will be moving on to explore other educational opportunities. We are also saying au revoir to Amy Houle, who has been covering a maternity leave in the French department for the last 2 years. Finally, we are saying farewell and conveying our best wishes to John Reed, our senior band teacher, who after 25 years of wonderful and entertaining work is ready for retirement. John has been a model of dedication and professionalism, first in the middle school band and choral program, and in the last 10 years in the senior school band program. He has both inspired and befriended students in their musical pathways in ways that his students and colleagues admire. He will be deeply missed and remembered for certain in more languages than I can muster. On behalf of the school, I want to thank John and all his colleagues for their outstanding contribution to this day and to the experience of our students. Now I would like to say to the graduates a message I like to give every year. We who have taught you know that in doing that, we work in the service of something that is much bigger than we are, your future. You are now moving on to new adventures and new worlds. Rather than advice, for you grads, I only have aspirations. I hope you feel a sense of liberation as you graduate. I hope your diploma has been earned at the expense of some trials, some bruises, some late nights, and skinned knees. If so, it will really mean something. All the rules and guidelines of school are part of the great project of education, which is to free young people to be most fully themselves, and then to stay free. I hope you have learned to think for yourself, to speak for yourself, and to shape your world. In closing, I simply ask you to remember us who have taught you for the best that we have done, because we will certainly remember you fondly and vividly for the best that you have done. Vivat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snowden. My name is Andy Rodford, and I am the new director of the senior school. And although this will be the last time that I can officially use this introduction as the lead-in to my preamble of the morning, it's one that I'll take advantage of as I recount the planning of today's celebration in this new venue, where we have been rearranging seating plans and engineering ceremony flow patterns, the likes of which would rival in detail with any battle plan on a 5,000-person aircraft carrier. Nevertheless, as my newness rides off into the sunset, it is with absolute pleasure and honor that I begin this celebration of the talents and accomplishments of some amazing young men and women. As you know, this year marked a modification to our academic advisor system, where we moved from a single grade advisor to a group of 4 remarkable educators who collectively guide and support our grade 10, 11, and 12 students through their course selections, their academic success planning, and their university applications, respectively. And that, of course, is just the tip of the iceberg of this important relationship between our students and these advisors. With this said, we felt it was quite fitting for each of the academic advisors to introduce their respective students, which means that both grade 11 and 12 students will make their way across the stage in 4 alphabetical groups by advisor so that you can plan photos accordingly. So I'd like to begin this celebration by inviting Allison McCallum to the stage to recognize her group of this year's grade 11 class.
I think they're coming. I hope so, anyway. Grade 11, in its penultimate position in a high school career, can be both a challenging and eye-opening year for students. There are still core required courses in English, math, social studies, and science, but there are also many electives to choose from within those areas. Students have the chance to begin to go deeper in their chosen subjects and to try out courses that are new to them. Both in and outside the classroom, students are engaged, stretched, and encouraged. Our wish is that they discover what they're passionate about and follow those pathways as they head into grade 12. I have 2 groups of advisors, as each of us does, and we'll start with Calcutta and Amari. I'm going to call up the students in a group and have them all come across the stage. I'll ask you to hold your applause until they're all lined up. Mr. Angus is going to hand out the records of achievement. Yeah, thank you. Calcutta and Amari. Celine Doring. Levine Fan. Ana Maria Fernandez Grandizo. Chantal Gabar. Isabella Gudgeon. Jack Janis. Lydia Kenzie. Sophia Liu. Paris Lowe. Sean MacArthur. Alicia Mertland. That's the first group of students. Here are a few statistics to ponder while the first group returns to their seats in the balcony and the second group waits. Among this class, 79% have an A average or better, and the 3 grade 11 school captain scholars, Andrew Kang, Cecilia Shang, and Natcha Panvichan, earned top academic averages of more than 97%. Looking at the AP exam stats, 96 students wrote APs for a total of 236 out of 545 exams. In addition, 19 students provided peer coaching or learning support, 8 actively took part in the academic council, and that was co-led by a grade 11 student. Our next group begins with Tasha Muanguzi. Kai Newman. Aaron Ross. Michael Rossi. Punyanit Sirupun. Shania Sorensen. Andy Wang. Kevin Welsford. Charlie White. Sydney Witoski. Ashley Wu. And Danny Wu. The second group. Thanks, students. Mr. Humphreys will come and present his group now.
Leadership is a big part of the school program, ladies and gentlemen, permeates itself through everything we do. Exactly 100 grade 11 students nominated themselves for leadership positions this year, and that's a record. I know because I keep track of it every year, and that is a substantial group wanting to be involved in the leadership of the school body. Let me share something of what they said in their self-nomination speeches this year. I won't identify the speaker, but these are all quotes. On leadership. As a leader, I hope to spread a feeling of cross-grade inclusiveness and encourage involvement in school activities for grades 9 through 12. I also aim to make every student in the school feel comfortable in approaching me with any questions or issues. Here's another one on improvisational problem solving. Life likes to come at you sideways, so even though I love a good plan, I'm also okay with that whole improv thing. And I've found it hugely beneficial when life throws those inevitable curveballs. Let's have my first group, Anita Ann. Oh, we do need a presenter. I guess we have Mr. Angus again. Sorry to make you work hard there, David. Anita. Scarlett Anglican. Lawrence Berardelli. Ladies, you better go right over to the plant. It's going to be a big list. Keep going. Harpreet Vela. Marco Cafaro. Adam Chan. Jeremy Chan. Richard Chan. Brian Chen. James Chen. Mitchell Chen. Sikun Chen. Samantha Colby. Emma Donald. And I think we'll stop there. That's my first group, ladies and gents. Here's some more on leadership. This is about the possibility for prefect meetings and what those can be like. Our meetings should be a whirlwind of discussion, proposals, objections, rebuttals, rulings. I would love to be given a chance to make this happen. I'll bring the humor and the cookies. Luis Alonso Escudero. Max Gallant. Catriona Gordon-Pogue. Sarah Graham. Angela Hu. Jessica Jiang. Zachary Khan. Katrina Kelly. Jenny Kim. Tommy, no, not Tommy. Can't see. Alicia Knight, sorry. Got the bright lights. Now it's your turn, Tommy. Tommy Koziel. And that's my second group, ladies and gents. One last quote for you regarding leadership. This is the favorite one. I saved the best one for last. I hope you enjoy this. This is my approach to leadership. It's all about connections. I want to show you that alliteration, genetics, biblical reference, SMUS, biochemistry, and even cheese can be connected and seamlessly spun together like a silk dress. Don't you think we're going to have wonderful leaders next year? Vivian Lam. Emma Laprise. Ellen Law. Estelle Lee. Leonard Liao-Briere. Borja Lopez. Sunmin Oh. Yasmin Ritsari. Samuel Sun. Levi Supowitz. Brody Thorne. Gigi Velwer. Andrew Williams. Alex Wu. And Kevin Chow. That's my final group, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. My name is Ray Casey. I'd like Mr. Grant, please, to come up. Mr. Grant is from the Alumni Association. One of the major events of the year, and certainly the highlight for those taking part, is the annual musical. This year we staged The Secret Garden at the McPherson Playhouse to wide critical acclaim. Many of our grade 11 students were involved in that production on stage, behind the scenes, and in the orchestra pit. There were 10 grade 11s in the cast, and 3 of the 5 in the dance ensemble were in grade 11. 4 members of the grade 11 class played lead roles, and one of these players, in quotes, stepped in late halfway through rehearsals when he found out that there was kissing in the script. All 4 of the assistant stage managers were grade 11s, and 13 others worked on moving flies, positioning sets, dishing props, and doing makeup. Both the poster and the cast hoodie designs were created by grade 11 students. I would say that the musical next year should be outstanding given the involvement of this year's grade 11s. And my first group hopefully is here. Paramas Aripatakun. William Kai. Nicola Shampoo. Doris Chun. Jacob Chun. Carolina Correll. Nicholas Cunningham. Dana Fitzgerald. Jackie Hahn. Luke Jones. Abraham Karagani. And Jordan Lane. And that's it for my first group. Life in boarding centers on laughter, late-night conversations, food, studying, and racing to get first dibs on the washing machine. As always, it was an action-packed year in boarding. As a group, they completed several service initiatives, working hard to eradicate invasive plants, helping the homeless, and cleaning up our beaches. They joined in almost every imaginable athletic activity, from rugby to yoga to ice skating to frisbee golf. In their activities around town, they got up close and personal with the goats at Beacon Hill Petting Zoo and checked out the Christmas lights at Butchart Gardens. There was a plethora of arts events as well, which took them to all sorts of cultural activities and crafting events around town. Mr. Bateman was pleased when many of the guys came to campus kitted out with amazingly long camera lenses, and a field trip to the National Geographic photography exhibit ensued. Many of our boarders took opportunities offered to do service work in Mexico, Nicaragua, Thailand, and India during spring break. When they're at home in boarding, life is fun. There are sleepovers in Wenman, impromptu breakdance competitions, video game challenges, photo ops, diverse dining experiences that include smoothies prepared on site, and of course there is singing. Given all of the positive blog posts and feedback I received, it appears that there was rarely a dull moment in any of the houses. And now my second group. Cimarron Langlois. Hannah Lincoln. Angie Locke. Finton O'Brien. Nacha Panvichian. Matt Shin. Danlin Su. Daphne Sho. Jason Wang. William Y. Lily Zhang. That's the last of my grade 11s. And now on to Greg Marchand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I'd like to call on Mrs. Christine Tambouri from the Parents Auxiliary to present the records of achievement to the final groups of grade 11 students. Thank you. The athletic achievements of this year's grade 11 class have been memorable for numerous accomplishments, with some of the highlights being the fact that almost half of the athletes participating on senior teams came from the grade 11 class, to one of the members of the class becoming the fastest schoolboy in the province in winning the 100 meters at the recent provincial track and field championships. Of the 14 BC championships that we could qualify for, our school earned berths in 8 events, due in no small part to the support of a strong group of grade 11s. Although the Ministry of Education doesn't mandate it, our school requires all grade 11 students to take a PE course. Our successes in school athletics can be attributed to, in some way, the school's belief in the value of physical education. But this belief goes well beyond competitive athletic success to embody the motto of one of our founding schools, Mens sana in corpore sano, a healthy mind in a healthy body. My first group, David Baroto. Gareth Croft. Jenna Dillon. Jill Ding. Fernando Escudero. Bryce Fenton. Lance Hu. Andrew Kang. Liam Keeler-Young. Zach Klein. Michael Lee. Sophia Liang. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my first group of grade 11 students. In the fine arts areas, grade 11s wowed us even beyond the many roles they portrayed in the Secret Garden at the McPherson, including multiple performances in a series of one-act plays in the lecture theater this year. 3 grade 11 students were highlighted in a phenomenal concerto concert last month. The entire school orchestra was anchored throughout the year by the grade 11 concertmaster. The heart of the school band performances, from the small ensembles concert in the fall to jazz night in the spring, has come from the talent of a core of grade 11 students. Grade 11 student artwork graced the walls of the McPherson Playhouse earlier this year, and even the walls of the boardroom this spring in support of Keep the Beat. This is a group of true artists in all disciplines of the fine arts. Angel Lynn. No? Bob Lynn. Kevin Lowe. Wilfred Lowe. Brendan Marnie. Malia McMullen. Tin King Ing. Danny Park. Jennifer Park. Tessa Peel. Jane Peary. Georgia Quinlan. Christina Robillard. Matt Rudd. Ayumi Seto Tamashigi. And one more, Zane San.
Congratulations.
My second group of grade 11 students. Thank you. I know you'd like to stay longer. The co-curricular activities that grade 11 students were part of this year can serve to almost summarize what the school has to offer. They include multiple fundraising efforts with students walking for water, keeping the beat for the War Child Canada, and fasting in the 30-hour famine in support of World Vision. Grade 11 students have left their mark in the poetry they've written for Between the Red Walls, in the debates they've led in Adventures in Public Discourse, and the views they've expanded in the Pride Alliance. From Amnesty International to Model United Nations, from the Chapel team to global young leaders conferences, grade 11 students have used their involvement both inside and outside the curriculum to make an indelible mark on their community and themselves. Cecilia Sheng. Saeed Shakoya. Olivia Sorley. Serena Sue. Tammy Tan. Ong Tang Jin Tanakon. Sarah Taylor. Ji-Hyu Wee. Claire Williams. Jacob Wilson Potter. Stephanie Wong Harrison. Laura Woods. Tiffany Yang. And Eric Yu. Ladies and gentlemen, the final group of grade 11. I'd like to now call on Ms. Denise Lamarche, our academic director, to present the major awards.
Thank you, Mr. Marchand. I would like to invite David Angus up to the stage to present the awards to our recipients. I have the great honor to present the major awards for our grade 11 students. There are 2 awards for which the students are eligible in grade 11. The first major award is the Lifer Award. This is awarded to exceptional all-round students who have performed at a high level in the areas of scholarship, athletics, fine arts, leadership, and character. This year, the Lifer Award is awarded to 2 recipients, and I invite them to come up to the stage: David Baroto and Sydney Witoski. It's photo time. Congratulations. The Alumni Association Award is awarded to students who demonstrate exceptional leadership as per the SMUS leadership pillars: respect, honesty, service, and courage. I invite the following award winners up to the stage: David Baroto, Kalkadana Mare, Zane San, Danny Park, and Paris Lowe. Congratulations.
As we move toward the grade 12 portion of today's ceremonies, I would like to ask this year's head boy, Riley Erickson, and head girl, Orla Glenn, to come forward to be thanked by next year's incoming head girl and head boy of the class of 2014, Kalkadana Mare and David Baroto. Riley and Orla.
Hello,
everyone. So I know it's not quite Monday yet, but here I go. Why did Simba's father die?
I don't know, Cal. Why did Simba's father die?
He couldn't move faster.
Okay, Cal, let's be honest here. That was kind of bad. But I think my poetry for the soul will kind of make up for that. Smoo is red. Smoo is blue. Smoo is nothing without you.
A bit on the cheesy side, I guess it's just some things that Riley and Orla can only do.
You got that right.
Riley and Orla, thank you for making this school year wiggity whack. Despite all the groaning you may have heard, you all know that we loved and were deeply inspired by your classic Joke Mondays and Poetry for the Soul.
On top of that, we just want to give you two a shout out for being an awesome head boy, head girl combo. We love you two for your enthusiasm, dedication, and your selflessness. And I speak for the whole senior school when I say we're going to miss you. Now, grad class, don't think we forgot about y'all. You guys brought that extra something that made the year super flavorful. And don't think for and don't think for a second that we won't miss you too.
All in all, Riley and Orla, thanks for showing us how it's done. Best wishes to you two in your future endeavors. And grad class, peace and love. As a token of our appreciation, we'd like to present these plaques to you. On behalf of the SMOO community. Here we go. Good job. There goes my hat. Vivat!
After all that love, we'll now enjoy a musical interlude by Marvin Ren on his classical guitar, who will perform his beautiful rendition of Samuel Meyer's Cavatina.
As the grade 12s are getting ready for their moment on the stage, I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the academic advisors to acknowledge our collective joy at seeing this group of fine young people being launched into the post-secondary world. As you listen to the description for each grad, crafted with the help of their homeroom teachers, you'll hear that we have students going far and wide, as well as near to home, wherever home is for our GLIDE class of 140 students from 14 different countries. Some will take time off from formal academics and head into that school of life with paid employment, volunteer work, travel, or performing. Others will carry on expanding their horizons on new campuses. We know that each one has chosen his or her path with the support and guidance of many, parents, family, teachers, coaches, house parents, and friends, but the final choice was their own, and great adventure awaits. I'd like to call upon Bob Snowden, head of school, and David Angus, chair of the board, to present the students with their records of achievement and graduation diplomas. I also invite Nick Grant to the stage to give the grads the letter officially welcoming them into the Alumni Association. All right, let's begin. We begin with Shayla Baumler. The owner of many of the most lovely scarves on campus, Shayla has snapped her talented camera shutter on some beautiful years at SMU. Of special significance were her 2 service trips to Argentina and India, and her seemingly endless supply of energy and enthusiasm for service initiatives on our campus. Mount Allison University will be her next stop, where she will study international development and biology. William Brown. Arriving in grade 9, William quickly enriched our school with his signature combination of acting ability and dry English wit. A legendary figure in the B Team soccer program, Will is excited to be heading to Toronto in the fall to study journalism at Ryerson University. Mackenzie Caddo. In his 2 years at school, Mackenzie's been involved in basketball and rugby, and he's played an active role in athletics council, all while quietly working on throwing a little white ball close to 90 miles an hour. Now that he has to duck to get through most of the doorways, it's time for him to move on. Next year, Mac will join the ranks of the UBC Thunderbirds to play varsity baseball and study in the Faculty of Arts. Victoria Chan. People may think of Victoria as shy, but her friends, many of them boarders, know that she is far from quiet. Anyone who has seen her video poem will know that she's also extremely talented and witty. She has been a big fan of tennis this year and loves her grad bear. Next year, she'll take her to New York City and the Pratt Institute, where Victoria will study digital arts. Shane Cheng. Shane came to SMU in grade 10. He's been involved in soccer, basketball, squash, track and field, and rowing. He's also been involved in the E-Team, Service Club, and the Business Club, where he taught new members how to make bubble tea. He'll take his bubbles to Ontario in the fall, where he plans to study engineering. Christine Chu. While Christine may be known amongst her peers for skipping a grade, she has a perfect attendance record for homeroom. Actively involved in both service council and chapel team, Christine's also known for a great sense of humor. She'll be attending UVic next year in the Faculty of Science. Becca Clayton. Becca came to the West Coast in grade 10, and there's simply not enough time to give justice to all of the accomplishments and contributions she has made over the past 3 years. Her fondest memories, however, include the experiential program, outdoor leadership, and the service trip to Kenya. Becca's infectious spirit will be sorely missed as she heads to the University of Guelph next year studying international development. Cara Clemente. Cara's caring spirit and genuine empathy were pillars of the SMU service initiatives in recent years. In particular, she made important contributions to the service trip to Kenya and the outdoor leadership voyage to Telegraph Cove. Cara has forged strong friendships over the last 5 years, and she'll carry those people in her big heart as she heads to UBC in the fall to pursue a degree in science. Michelle Cruz. Michelle loved her 3 years in Canada and the unique opportunities it has offered. All 32 of her sisters in Timmins House have become her extended family. Her bright smile and genuine contributions to the boarding community will be missed. We wish her well next year as she returns home to be with her family. She'll begin pre-med studies in Mexico at Universidad La Salle. Prim Dorangde. A diminutive figure with a cheerful smile and a superlative voice, Prim has been only with us for a year, but leaves SMU a much more melodious place. Next year, having already experienced Nova Scotia and BC, Prim will try out Ontario, where she'll study business with some digital art on the side at the University of Toronto. Prince Dorangde. Prince also came to SMU from Thailand via Nova Scotia for his grade 12 year. He's been involved in choir and business club, where his cheerful and gentle personality shone through. Prince will move to England next year to attend the University of Kent, where he'll be studying engineering. Riley Erickson. When not sunning himself in his native Bermuda, Riley could most often be found frantically running around campus looking for lost items, standing in front of assembly delivering hilarity in poetic form, or rowing at various and ridiculous hours of the day and night. Next September at St. Francis Xavier University, he will continue to enthrall the masses with his scintillating wit and his unidentifiable accent. Stephen Fuller. This budding American cricketer has distinguished himself on our campus as a respectful young man who quietly does his thing in a balanced and cooperative way. House parents assure me that he has never given them a moment's worry, always going about his business with a cheerful manner, even his physics homework. Stephen's next stop is Washington, D.C., where he'll begin studies at American University in the fall. Remy Ferrer. Remy came to school in grade 9 from Geneva and immersed himself in English language studies for the first time, transitioning to grade 10 partway through his first year here. A peer coach and a tutor, as well as a talented artist, Remy is a creative young man who has come into his own during his time with us. He shows great consideration for the world around him and is unafraid to be himself. He begins liberal arts studies at Hampshire College in Massachusetts in the fall. Orla Glenn. Orla has been actively involved in squash, basketball, soccer, field hockey, athletics council, chapel team, Free the Children, and as an admissions ambassador, and those are just a few of the groups she's been part of. Before heading to university, Orla will spend part of a gap year in South Africa, helping at a school, and then heading to the UK to live and work. We will all miss her exuberant nature and school spirit, and perhaps the classic joke Mondays. Oliver Wong. Oliver has been involved in tennis, badminton, track and field, as well as making his mark in service council, peers, scorekeeping, and Model UN, where he gave his first speech. It's been such a delight to see Oliver grow on this campus and in our midst. We wish him all the best as he moves to Montreal to begin studies at McGill in the fall. Liam Hyatt. Still waters run deep, and the strong silent type are sayings that come to mind when thinking of Liam. But beneath that facade, we've seen a personable and engaging young man, a committed teammate, and a good friend. Liam is taking his strengths to Nova Scotia in the fall, where he will attend St. Francis Xavier University in the Faculty of Arts. Carlina Kim. This musical young person not only plays clarinet in the senior concert band and orchestra, but also sings with vocal jazz and has often performed in chapel. She's been involved in musicals, was a member of the rowing team, and was a stellar admissions ambassador. Carolina has taken full advantage of being our campus 24/7, becoming enmeshed with the school environment, and we are the richer for it. This fall, she will head to McGill to begin studies in science and psychology. James Kim. James has made his way through his high school years with focus and commitment. His care and compassion for others have shone through in his service work, and he has proven to be a talented musician playing both sax and cello. He is poised to take his next academic steps in the Faculty of Science at the University of Rochester with the goal of pursuing medicine. Gabe Lunn. This token hipster is an athlete, a musician, and a writer, but these are just three of the many ways Gabe has distinguished himself in his time here. He's participated in as many aspects of school life as he could find time for, from lunchtime acoustic concerts to swing band to squash to pit orchestra to cross country, and still found time to fit in service hours and a half marathon. Next year, he'll stay in Victoria to continue his studies in creative writing at UVic. Victoria Lunn. Victoria came to the campus 3 years ago with a portfolio of ambitious drafts on the Higgs boson and on string theory, which had preoccupied her since primary school. She found herself swerving unpredictably into campus clubs, senior sports, and student conferences. She'll take her diverse skills and interests with her as she begins her studies at Western University, with plans to enter the Ivy School of Business in third year. Adam Marsh. Adam has single-handedly pushed the boundaries of uniform protocol into territories previously uncharted by any student at SMU, and he has lived to tell the tale. One of his most profound memories of his time at the school is his role as assistant director on the musical Guys and Dolls, an experience that taught him the meaning of courage and leadership. Next year, he'll be studying English and writing at Camuson College. Conrad Moore. Conrad arrived in his grade 11 year and headed straight for the water. He's been a key member of the SMU rowing team, a strong, focused, and eminently coachable young man. He hopes to continue rowing at the next level. He'll begin his business degree at Camosun in the fall, eventually transferring to UVic for his final years of study. Cormac O'Brien. Cormac is the humorous conscience of the school, the one with the perfect bon mot at the perfect moment, someone who rarely puts his feet in his mouth because he reserves his feet for the game of soccer. A favorite moment from his time at SMU is the senior soccer provincials, where his team managed a well-fought 8th place. There is no doubt that Cormac has left his mark on SMU. Next up is a gap year, after which he hopes to study English at Queen's. Abby Piazza. Abby's the sort of person who gets the job done, on the court, in the mountains, or in the classroom. She has been the engine behind volleyball, basketball, and soccer this year, keeping the spirit up and the team laughing. Going on the road with any sport is a true pleasure for her, but she also loved her time in Kenya dancing with the Maasai. Next year, she'll be at Quest University, continuing to pursue her love of outdoors, the environment, learning, and basketball. Pamela Schaefer. Honored by her peers as SMU's first Artist of the Month, Pamela has consistently astounded her peers and teachers with the quality of her work, emerging over the past few years as one of our most talented visual artists. We are excited to hear of her accomplishments to come as she heads to the University of Victoria next year. Matthew Sedgwick. Matthew loves musical theater and is well known amongst his friends for his tap dancing skills. His feet apparently never stop moving, whether he be in theater or chemistry. He will do a hop, skip, and a jump up the hill to UVic next year to pursue a degree in geomatics. Joseph Sforkdal. Joseph has seemed to spend most of his time rowing and wearing neon pink shorts. A successful student athlete, he also held the role of prefect this year, but would likely be best known after next year as a student who took a gap year to build Viking ships in Norway. After that, he plans to attend UVic to study biomedical engineering. Cole Tanbury. Cole has made a considerable impact on campus. Just wait. You're going to get your hug. Cole has made a considerable impact on the campus since arriving in grade 9. A sociable fellow, he'll be particularly missed on the rugby field and between the goalposts with his gloves on. Cole plans to go to Dalhousie University in Halifax, where he'll no doubt find many more opportunities to exercise his talents on the field and in the classroom. Yeah. Brody Watkins. Brody has tremendously enjoyed his 4 years at SMU and has matured greatly as an athlete, outdoor leader, and student. His brothers in Barnacle House in particular will miss him as he heads off to study mechanical engineering, first at Camosun and then at UVic or UBC. Alpha Willabordsey. Alpha is a hands-on learner whose talents were best seen through his accomplishments on the rowing team and as a member of the experiential and outdoor leadership programs. Alpha will begin a gap year in the fall to pursue his true passions before entering university in the fall of 2014. Jeffrey Wu. Jeffrey has been in boarding since grade 8. His favorite memories include surviving Bolton House, the school musicals, winter camp, and being part of the Justice Action Group. His powers of organization, perseverance, and creativity will be sorely missed by the backstage crew and teachers alike in future musicals. Next year, he'll move to London, England to begin his studies at the Architectural Association School of Architecture. Dylan Zeng. This happy-go-lucky individual has been a wonderful role model in the house and the business club. Dylan possesses a unique combination of humility, diligence, and friendliness, which has served him so well on our campus. He takes up residence next at the University of Toronto to study commerce. And I'll now pass the mic over to Mr. Humphreys to present his advisees.
Going to carry on, Mr. Angus? Well done, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. Price is right.
All right, Mackenzie Blaisdell. Mackenzie hails from Calgary and is about to enter a new life in San Jose, California at Santa Clara University, where she will study communications and art. Her favorite memories of the school include traveling to India on a service trip and her many bike rides to the beach with Marisol. Natasha Caton. Shakespeare said of Hermia in A Midsummer Night's Dream, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." And these words apply most aptly to Natasha, whose stature belies her immense talent and dreams. If anyone can straighten out this planet, she can. And she will begin that job starting next year at the University of Victoria. Richard Cunningham. Go East, young man. Positive, constructive, forward-looking, and very musical, Richard Cunningham will take his talents to Kitchener-Waterloo, where he will study at the University of Waterloo, and I dare say sing in a couple of choirs. Anastasia Efremova. For tips on fashion and the correct pronunciation of the novels of Tolstoy, Anastasia is the #1 authority at SMU. She has enjoyed helping to organize the school's various cultural weeks and is looking forward to attending UBC next year, where she will study management and finance. Ben Elliott. Ben came to us in grade 9 from the wilds of the Olympic Peninsula, and he has grown into a competent, hardworking, and empathetic young man, blessed with the ability to build strong, lasting relationships with his peers and teachers. We will definitely miss him if he heads off to study psychology at the University of Western Washington next year. Taylor Ellison. A key member of the rowing team for several years now, Taylor Ellison is most clearly in his element when he is on the water, working hard. He's heading off to the University of Victoria in the fall and local waterways, I'm sure. Leanne Farmer. Involved in many activities around the school, Leanne is also a certified regional level soccer referee. She has given a great deal of her time to SMUS athletics and to youth soccer in the Victoria area. This fall, she takes her academic and athletic talents to the University of Victoria. Sydney Green. Sydney is a bright and athletic young lady who prides herself on putting forth her best effort in every situation. She is an athlete at heart who enjoys running, hiking, and yoga. As she heads off to Queen's to study the arts, we wish her luck and will miss her cheerful disposition. Ella Hayashi. Ella confesses that she's quite astonished to be graduating. It has all happened a little too fast. That's what it says. Perhaps the schedule of senior sports, student leadership, and English department term papers is taking the blame for this. She will attend the University of Guelph in the fall, but intends to come back to SMUS to gloat at the current grade 11s, that's you guys, who will be crossing this stage same time next year. Taylor Hibbert. Over her 5 years at SMUS, Taylor has consistently contributed her cheerful enthusiasm to many extracurricular endeavors, including yearbook, peers, and academic council. She's excited to be heading off next year to the University of Alberta. Erin Hope. Multi-sport athlete, certified swimmer and sailor, rigorous academic. Western University in London, Ontario will be very fortunate to have Erin join its community this fall. Jenny Hughes. Jenny has thoroughly enjoyed her 4 years at SMUS, especially spending some good bonding time during out trips and quality time in the library. She would like to be remembered for tirelessly walking through horrific weather, including blizzards, on her way to school every morning. Jenny plans to take a gap year next year in New Zealand and then attend UBC Okanagan afterwards. Christina Kang. Christina is originally from Seoul, Korea, and since grade 9, she has made SMUS her home. She's a beautiful artist with a bright future ahead of her. She was involved in both the Arts Council and the E-Team. Christina has decided to head out east to the University of Toronto for business school in the fall. Ethel Kakundu. To say that Ethel has taken full advantage of all that SMUS has to offer, it'd be an understatement. Her fondest memories, however, include the service trip to Argentina, boarding house games, and provincial championships for the sports team she played on. We wish her much success as she attends the University of Leicester to study medicine. Alec Kinahan. Well known for his gregarious and entertaining character, Alec has enjoyed his 5 years at SMUS and could often be found pouring his energy onto the rugby pitch or the cross-country course. Alec is looking forward to heading to Alberta next year to study kinesiology at the University of Calgary. Cara Langley. At SMUS for her graduating year, Cara immersed herself in the humanities and social sciences in preparation for attending the University of Toronto, where she will be studying history and art. Ethan Lee. A much decorated badminton player, Ethan finds time to study as well and be a part of a host of school activities. From among his many choices, Ethan has chosen Queen's University to undertake his business studies. Anders Young. A central member of the Barnacle community, Anders had made his positive presence felt. His contributions to dance and to academics are appreciated by all of us. Now he will take his academic energy, his community commitment, and his dance moves to the University of Toronto. Ryan Leiter. Ryan came to SMUS in grade 6. He's been involved in soccer, rock climbing, squash, and cricket. A highlight here was bowling out Mark Yorth. He has been actively involved in chapel team and on the Reach for the Top team, which went to the provincials. He says what he enjoyed most about his tenure at SMUS are the strong bonds he has made with peers and teachers. In the fall, he will attend McGill or UBC to study the sciences. Wayne Lynn. Wayne has been racing around the boarding campus since his arrival here in grade 9. Since that time, he's devoured school athletics, playing both basketball and rugby at the top levels. Next year, he goes to the University of Toronto. Suzanne Meyer. Coming all the way from Germany, Suzanne joined us in her grade 10 year, embraced boarding life, and this year rose to the rank of boarding prefect. She is known as being possibly the nicest person in Victoria. She enjoys traveling with friends, and we suspect that her gap year will be spent doing just that. She'll be attending a European business school when she settles down the following year. Jackie McKay. This passionate writer and runner came to SMUS in grade 10 from Alberta. Always smiling and positive, she has really enjoyed her time in Timmins House, where she was head of house this year. She takes her love of writing and poetry to Ryerson University in Toronto this fall. Elliot Price Baff. A man of many talents and interests, Elliot is equally at home in the classroom, at the piano, and in a philosophical discussion. He arrived at SMUS last year and is known amongst his teachers for not taking a traditional approach to uniform or deadlines. So did Einstein. Elliot plans on taking a gap year and then attending UVic in the future. Charlotte Queen. Charlotte, our witty and studious field hockey player, will live under the protection of Arthur's Seat next year as she attends the University of Edinburgh and rebuilds her Scottish accent. Lauren Kwong. Lauren joined the SMUS family in grade 11. She has since been involved with Free the Children, Break the Cycle, Rowing Crew, and Outdoor Leadership. In addition, she served as a boarding prefect this year and took pride in her big sister role in Winslow House. Lauren will be attending Carleton University in the fall. Kelly Selmas. Callie arrived at SMUS last year from Alberta and has been entertaining her friends with funny songs ever since. Her highlights have been playing in the swing band, orchestra, and concert band, as well as accompanying the choir at the cross-campus strings concert. Next year, she will be found studying science at the University of Victoria and hopefully still strumming a guitar at lunchtimes. Shannon Toogood. A native of Victoria, Shannon has been actively engaged in the athletic community here at SMUS. She's heavily involved in softball outside school and committed to the soccer team and the athletics council here. Shannon will be moving down to Texas this fall to study social sciences and play baseball at West Texas College, I think. Brian Yam. Brian is a man of many talents. He's a dancer, a cellist, and a wicked badminton player. The memory of this school he will hold close for a long time is his week on Nootka Island, where the value of having good friends became very clear to him. He hopes to study management next year at the University of Toronto.
Down there. Alicia Begg.